This is no clickbait. I will give you an analogy right now about trauma that will blow your mind and will give you a complete different perspective of how your brain actually works. Your brain is literally like a social media algorithm. Whatever you engage with, whatever you give watch time to, if you watch TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, the more you watch certain type of videos, the more you give it attention, the more the algorithm gives you that. The algorithm will even give you those videos, specific ones that you give watch time, even if you don't like those videos, even if you dislike them, especially if you comment on them, the algorithm will give you more because it only watches your watch time. The same way the brain gives you emotions, thoughts, and bodily sensations. That's the three things that the brain can give you: emotions, thoughts, and bodily sensations. And then your brain watches carefully what you react to of those thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations. And then it creates an algorithm over time that's very sophisticated and will give you images, intrusive thoughts, emotions that you engage with the most. Maybe you engage with the most is guilt or anger or depression. And whatever you engage with the most, the brain gives you more of. Now, what does engaging with those thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations mean? It means the behaviors you're doing around those emotions, thoughts, and bodily sensations, which means the behaviors you're doing inside of your head and outside of your head with outside behavior, with outside actions. So when the brain gives you a feeling of anxiety and you avoiding going to a social event because of the feeling of anxiety, you are doing a behavior around that anxiety, and the brain's algorithm, like the social media algorithm, gives you more anxiety because you showed the brain you're doing behaviors around that anxiety. When you are in a relationship and the brain gives you the feeling of jealousy, and you are doing a behavior of going to Instagram or Snapchat and checking what your boyfriend or girlfriend is doing to get a feeling of relief, so you can check if they're doing appropriate things, the brain's like, wow, they love engaging with the emotion of jealousy. Let's give them more of that emotion of jealousy. And so moment by moment in your life, your brain is building that algorithm. Now, regarding trauma is just excessive emotions, thoughts, and bodily sensations. It's no different from regular patterns. They are just more extreme. If you want to take trauma apart, trauma is not to be found in the past. Trauma was created in the past, but we cannot go back to the past. Never, 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 never. So trauma doesn't exist actually in the past at all. Trauma can only exist, like anything else, can only always exist in the present moment. And trauma expresses itself in the present moment as emotions, thoughts, and bodily sensations. And if you react to it, which with trauma is very likely that you are going to react to it because it's so extreme, the brain's like, oh, this trauma is still useful to bring up. So the brain will give you more of that trauma. Now, how do we then get rid of trauma? If us engaging with the trauma is us keeping it alive? Well, when you're trying to fix trauma, when you're trying to heal trauma, when you're trying to do anything with the trauma, when you're trying to get relief from it, you're engaging the algorithm. So the only way to get out of this is to make trauma inactive. Now, how do we make trauma inactive? Well, we have to be okay with uncomfortable emotions. We have to be okay with uncomfortable thoughts. We have to be okay with uncomfortable bodily sensations. Because if we're not okay with them, we react to them again. We engage with the algorithm again. Because you're looking for relief from them. Because you let your life be dictated by the trauma. And if you let your life be dictated by the trauma, the brain just knows, oh, you love fixing trauma, let me give you more trauma to fix. So, what we need to do is to live our lives on a different GPS system. Because right now, your goal is very much being obsessed with healing the trauma. And I'm telling you, if you can change that intention, which is so crazy to say, right? Because your intention, of course it is, to try to get rid of the trauma, because it affects you so much. It affects you so much. So you're like, no, I have to deal with this thing that affects you. Paradoxically, by trying to deal with the thing that affects you so much, you are feeding it. You are keep recycling it. The brain sees it continuously as useful. So, to show your brain that you want different things in your life, you have to change your direction. You have to change your GPS system. And the only aspect that your brain doesn't have an effect on will be values, will be valued actions that you direct. So you want to stop letting your life be dictated by emotions, thoughts, and bodily sensations, and you want to start doing behavior that is independent of thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations, that goes in the direction of what you want to grow in life. The funny thing is, as Mark Freeman says, what you want to do, you only want to heal trauma because you want to live your life. You only want to heal trauma because you want to live your life. The funny thing is, when you live your life despite of the trauma, you show your brain over time that you don't care anymore about the trauma anymore, and you make it inactive over time because you show your brain, your little child, that it's safe to live your life. The trauma was created through a defense mechanism of not getting hurt, of having extreme situations. So now the brain thinks going out there and living your life is dangerous. So you have to show your brain with exposure that it's not dangerous anymore. Now, easier said than done, right? So let me make this a little bit easier for you. As said, trauma is just emotions, thoughts, and bodily sensations. You judge trauma just as those extreme things. I know you can think of them right now. Maybe it's panic attacks, maybe it's OCD, maybe it's BPD, whatever it is, it's those extreme situations, social anxiety, that you label as extreme. What you have to do, what you have to know is that these are not the only patterns that you create. That there are less extreme patterns that create the bigger trauma patterns. And those less extreme patterns are all those patterns where you look for control and safety. The same way. Where you check on things, where maybe you check 3 or 4 times if your door is closed or your car is closed, or you double and triple and quadruple check your emails at your job. Those are small, you can call them small trauma patterns that feed the big trauma patterns. So you can actually practice, you don't have to be perfect. You can practice with smaller things that will also affect the bigger things. But I also already want you to start practicing also with the bigger thing. You want to practice with all. But you're doing a lot of little things, and if you don't cut out the little things, then how are you going to have the strength to cut out the bigger things? You can cut out the bigger things at the same time, by the way, but you would definitely want to also do the smaller things. Now, the way to deal with the emotions, thoughts, and bodily sensations is to accept them when they come up, but redirect yourself in the direction of the valued actions. Redirect yourself in the direction of the valued actions, which is you going to the gym, which is you building your business. It's you going to the gym, it's you building your business. It's you going to the gym, you building your business, you creating your podcast, you doing all the things, living your life, hanging out with friends, going into relationships. It's all the things that you want to spend your time on, even if along the way a feeling of anxiety or a thought of not being good enough comes up. Now, one of the biggest steps that you want to do to be able to have an easier practice with that is you want to have cognitive diffusion, which is the differentiation between you and your brain. Because if you identified with the thoughts of not being good enough, not being ready yet, and all those judgmental thoughts about yourself or others, you're gonna easier act on them. But you just heard me saying that the goal is to act independently of those things, because if you act independently of those things, you show your brain's algorithm that you don't care anymore about those things, and your brain doesn't bring them over time in the algorithm. So it's important for you to know that it's not so much that you have to know it's not that is not you. It's the ability to be able to see it and not act on the thoughts and emotions. And you do that by proactively setting the valued actions for your week. Because if you don't proactively set them, you will reactively act on the emotions and thoughts. Have you ever heard the saying, if you don't set intentions for your own life, other people will set them for you? Well, if you don't set intentions for your own life, your brain will also set them for you. That's why you need to proactively do that. And a lot of people have resistance for that. They're like, oh no, I don't want to commit. And especially the people that train themselves to be reactive. So you want to practice actually having wrong feelings and moving forward with valued actions, which will actually make you more emotionally fit. It will show your brain that you can handle emotions and move forward. It will make emotions actually smaller because you become a bigger space, because you become stronger. Like in the gym, you become more muscular with emotions and they don't affect you as much. But for that, you have to see mental health as a practice, not as a trick. There's not like this, quick magical trick that will from one day to the other just, you're perfect. It's a practice, like anything, it's a skill. A great way to do this is to ask yourself questions, because the brain always wants to answer questions. For you to set a new direction in your life, you want to ask yourself better questions. Instead of asking yourself the question, how can I get relief from this emotion? How can I get relief from this thought? Ask yourself the question, what do I want to spend my time on? What do I want to grow? What actions, what passion do I want to follow today? What things do I want to do tomorrow? What do I want to do in my life? And then the thoughts come, and the brain comes in, no, you have to fix this emotion. It's so uncomfortable. Yes, I can have this uncomfortable emotion, brain, and I'm moving forward. And the no brain method out of my book, the emotional fitness book, will help you too. When you say, no brain, I'm walking right now. No brain, I'm uploading this video right now. No brain, I'm talking to this person right now. The moment you say no brain, you're showing yourself that you're not the pattern. And then when you say, I'm walking right now, you shift your focus to the valued action. I'm at the gym, I'm doing chest press right now, I'm driving a car right now, I'm doing this right now. You're shifting your focus to what you're doing, which is shifting your algorithm. Now, the one thing that you want to be careful is you don't want to do the no brain method to get rid of emotions and thoughts, or to get relief from emotions and thoughts. To say, but the thoughts are still coming. Then you're not doing the no brain method right, because you're still hating on the thoughts, which is still engaging the algorithm. So you want to change the way you think. You want to change the way of your attitude. You want to change your GPS system from trying to fix those emotions and thoughts to go in the direction of your valued actions, of your excitement. Bashar talks about follow your excitement with no insistence on the outcome. He also talks about when you follow your excitement, along the way, all the things will come up that need to be integrated. Some people tell me, you're talking about suppressing. I'm never talking about suppressing. I'm talking about accepting. You're accepting the emotions and thoughts that come up and move forward. But many people tell you, no, you're talking about suppressing, because they don't want to move forward. They're scared to move forward. But when you move forward, all those patterns come up. And then you can integrate them. I am happy about telling you that I'm not a black or white person. I'm not a black or white person of, this is the only way. You just have to move forward. Moving forward is one of the most important things. It is the most important thing because it's the direction. But along the way, you can process things, and you can process them with Michael Singer's relax and release. You can process them when, like Eckhart Tolle says, when the pain body comes up, to be the watcher of the pain body. You can process them by showing the little child, the inner child, that you take care, that you support the inner child now, and that you imagine a different past where you support the inner child, beat up the bully, or do whatever to process that emotion. That is fine. Or you can just completely just accept it, like the relax and release technique from Michael Singer, to just relax and release around it and move forward, but still move forward with your valued action, because you don't have to sit on the couch to do that. You can move forward with your valued action. Now, you can meditate sometimes. You can make time for meditation. You can make time for the processing. That's fine, okay? Some people think I'm saying never do that, but you can do that also while moving forward. And sometimes you might need the time to just sit in meditation or raise your vibration and do a technique to process those emotions. That's fine. But you have to understand that if you make it an obsession to trying to fix trauma, the brain will just give you more trauma to fix. So that's why we want to move forward in a new direction, to show the brain that that's what we care about. And then the brain will support you more in that, and it will drop the trauma patterns. Now, I made this whole video outside today. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. And if you want to go deeper, you can check out my emotional fitness book in the description. There you learn the no brain method. You learn how to find your values with the value garden exercise by Mark Freeman. I added to the exercise 7 categories to make it easier to focus on it, to find your values. There is how to meditate in there. There's so many things in that book. And the book has animations to make it easier for you to understand. And you can, because it's a digital version, you get it right away on your phone and you can use it right away. So enjoy that. I'm excited to see you guys next time, and let me know in the comments what kind of videos you want to see.